I want to apologize in advance if the audio is multiple qualities or sounds like garbage. The thing that my dear best friend is teaching me, again, about perfectionism is to just let it suck so I can get content out there and overcome crippling anxiety.
Exactly. Because if it sucks, it's okay, because guess what? We're going to do better the next one because we're learning as we go.
Yeah.
We've had several things all of a sudden stop recording because batteries are dying or the file has to be split in two, and it's really killing our long-ass story about Europe. Nixie, where are you? Where are you, Nixie?
Why do you keep saying it like that?
Because you're about to find out.
What is it like? You're acting like people are asking me that or something?
They have been. So where are you?
Where are you? Where am I? Where am I? Where am I?
Where are you, Nixie?
Welcome to the show. This is the beginning of a beautiful podcast. Usually it's on me doing that.
Okay, so as the song suggested, where have you been?
Right now, we're in the library with Joe Cool staring at us, telling us that we need a library card. And we ended up in this predicament because we initially started Geek Beacon with the idea of like the beacon of light that brings all the geeks to the yard. And then it started off with a games distribution platform. But before that, we ended up doing Geeks Abroad. That ended up being this hugely overscoped project, which we'll get into later in the podcast. Terabytes of data, like over 9,000 terabytes of data. Well, maybe not 9,000, but over 9,000. And yeah, so then we started Equity Games, which is the game distribution platform. Ended up going to China, which was a good thing, but the bad thing was
us winning $1 million in funding, and to this date, Equity Games never got that funding.
Fraud in quotes, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. So any lawyers out there want to contribute to the Beacon, we could use some legal advice on terminology.
Yes.
Because my limited scope
this might all be blacked out and redacted because there's a lot of stuff that we haven't really felt like we could talk about.
Bloop, bleep, bleep, bloop, bloop.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's happened that we felt like we couldn't even talk about. So that's one of the reasons why we decided to come back to the Beacon, is because, you know, it's homegrown. You guys have been there since the beginning. Some of you since I started on YouTube 10 years ago in my day, like 9 years ago.
No.
Close enough to 10 years to make me feel old.
Definitely over, because we know each other for 9 years.
Yeah.
And you were already like pretty balling YouTuber.
Balling YouTuber.
Yeah. So.
Back then, a balling YouTuber, if you had like 200,000 subscribers, you were like good.
Yeah.
Good. And they still haven't found a way to merge my damn channels. So I have like 101, 150 another, 201, 100 another, and they can't seem to intersect. But yeah. So we're going to talk about all that and more with the podcast. So I'm Nixie, and this is
Mark.
And we are here with the Geek Beacon broadcast to talk about nerdy stuff that tickles your neurotransmitters. Let's do it. You like the song?
And then it gets into the song playing now.
Again? Is that going to actually be her song, though? The funny thing about that, though, is like that was actually a user submission.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to submit to our SpeakPipe, there should be a link. All the links for all the things forever will be in the description bar. And shout out to our community for helping make our website. I want to say that to like...
If all else fails, find all the information at geekbeacon.org.
Geekbeacon.org, especially /podcast or podcast.geekbeacon.org.
Depending which gets made by the time it goes live.
Yeah. A lot of this is community efforts, volunteer efforts, and it, just like in the public broadcasting system, made possible with viewers like you.
Thank you, guys.
So Geek Beacon was a community that was kind of born from, I would say, my influence initially. So it's a cool community. We talk about all sorts of nerd stuff. We have food porn, we have tech stuff, Linux stuff, of course, gaming. We used to do game nights. It's really fun happening in our Discord.
Like half the listenership was like, porn, I'm in. What's this hamburger doing here? This isn't what I wanted.
That's happening.
Grumpy face.
It's like hamburger porn. There are 2 buns.
Hamburger helper porn.
Hamburger help you to your porn. Anyway, yeah. So
that's your food.
That's Geek Vegan. That's Geek Vegan for you. Geeks Abroad was the idea that this guy here, best friend ever, doesn't want to travel.
Yep. I could care less about travel. But if I were to go places, I'd want to see like the places that like sing to me. I want to see like cool comic book stores. I want to see there's
Eiffel Tower.
Ugh. I would want to see
The Louvre.
No, I would like to visit a place like, say, if in Germany, for example, if there was a bar that had Dungeons and Dragons in like a dungeon setting, like underneath the regular bar, you can still get drinks and stuff. That would be amazing. I would want to go visit that and like talk to people like, why'd you make it? In Florida, there's a Dragon Ball Z like themed restaurant.
Yeah.
I would want to go there and I would want to talk to them like, what about DBZ makes you love it so much that you're going and making a food restaurant out of it?
So there's like a reoccurring theme of finding out what people are passionate about, talking to them about said thing. It's a double bonus if like
why would I want
to
to go to the Grand Canyon and look at a big hole in the earth?
But instead, we ended up having this crazy adventure where we ended up at Luca Comic Festival and Games, and that was essentially like Comic-Con, but in century-old monuments everywhere, and they were playing League of Legends in like a cathedral where
Renaissance cathedral.
Yeah, Renaissance cathedral. It was just crazy to hear like the narrator going like, is like, and then he flashed in over the wall, over the wall, over the wall.
But in Italian.
But in Italian, yeah. I feel like that's what he said.
And then just seeing like posters for like Warner Brother movies next to like
I have to move his hand.
Don't touch the table. Don't touch the table.
We have a semi-decent setup here in the library, but carry on.
But like seeing like WB like Warner Brother movie posters next to like Roman architecture was like mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like the culture I won't say clash or shock, but like mixing.
The culture mesh. Yeah.
Of like new and old. It was really
and to interview,
beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. And like he interviewed Rick and Morty's, and unfortunately
I interviewed a group of Me6s.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks in Italian.
I interviewed Stonecutters from The Simpsons. Those guys are great. They actually had real beer. Ooh. They were drinking real beer. I was like, I want to be a Stonecutter too.
Yeah, you gotta drink real beer in Europe.
I think the fun one was talking to the Fallout 4 cosplayers, and the one cosplayer, like, in their best English, describing how they made a fat boy from like plumbing pipes and stuff.
If you don't know what a fat boy is,
Google it.
Think heavy arsenal and Google fat boys. It's like, I really hope that the result.
Careful what you wish for.
It's a big gun. Bada boom, like Lilu says.
Yeah. So, and then after that, we both got super broke.
Yeah.
And we were like, all right, well, this wiped us financially because this project, as cool as it is, and we're going to have like video clips of it out soon, it was expensive to create and expensive to make, and we were like, we had to put everything on hold to get money.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to show a little video clip of that now. If I'm going to try my darndest. Insert video clip here.
We got like 204 gigs of footage.
Yeah, we got
that we're gonna like paste together and make it to like a great set of videos for you guys.
We essentially took like this huge production, like high production level thing, and tried to condense it, in a 3-person team, and it was rough, to say the least.
Tight spaces. No dryers in Italy, just washers, and as you can see, it's cloudy. So, yeah, it made washing clothes difficult. language barriers.
Not to mention all the while we're vlogging and on all 3 of our devices.
Capturing footage. We have my crappy cell phone.
The Go No Pro.
The Go No Pro.
Yep. And we have the GoPro. We have a bunch of stuff, but that's the thing of it really, is that we have this production level idea and we had to shrink it into a very...
We had to take plastic spoons and turn them into silver.
Yes. What he said.
And then appear now.
Yeah, so we were broke. But it's not just that we were broke. It's that, well, we can let ourselves...
Well, I mean, us being broke could not pay an editor to make something from it.
Editing is... I can do it, but there are several reasons why it's a bad idea for me. I am super perfectionist.
Yes, you are. How many times do we try to get this podcast
The
running?
reason why we're doing this in ways that I feel like are not perfect...
Thank you, Bert Kreischer.
It's his inspiration.
He's my spirit animal. Link below.
Yeah.
BertBertBert.com. Done. Free plug.
I feel like he has plenty of plugs.
Oh god, yeah.
But yeah, so it wasn't perfect, and that's unfortunate, but the fact is I also hate it because I'm my own worst critic. So if you imagine that you are critical of yourself and then you're tasked with constantly editing everything you do and listening to your jokes over and over and over again. And so when I tried to edit The Geeks Abroad, which is terabytes and terabytes, large, I would actually end up cutting myself out. I didn't tell you about this, but I would end up cutting myself out of the scenes because I was like, well, this is much better. He's much funnier. This is like, and it's just...
Thank you for your confidence in me and my hilarity.
But it sucked for me because it was like, I can't do this anymore. So I needed help. And if possible, maybe we are already explaining this to you in the past because we explained this in the video when we were in Italy, but we also had like a 3-camera setup. We basically recorded enough for a production team that should have been on a TV network, and that's just too laborious. And yeah,
we didn't have a lot of people with us, and
yeah,
and me lugging around the heavy stuff because you got noodly arms. Mm-hmm. The weak little T-Rex arms.
And we would have like...
I would get so drained and so tired and so cranky from like every day traveling and carrying all this heavy stuff.
We'd have like rock band level fallouts where we're like, we're breaking up the band. Like, I stole his pants at one point.
She stole my pants. I was trying to look, I did your laundry first. No, I did my laundry first so I can get dressed.
He didn't wash my clothes. Just for the record.
For the record, go ahead.
For the record, when you're traveling, there are very few things you need. Wi-Fi and clean clothes. And we had this good rotation where everybody was like communally washing each other's clothes, and it was beautiful, and then he broke that cycle. He broke it. And he didn't wash clothes, and I kind of lost my shit over it. I'm not gonna lie. So I was like, I'm gonna retaliate by taking his pants and then leaving. I left with his pants in the middle of winter.
So when the
that sounds so bad.
So when everyone in the bed and breakfast disappeared for dinner, I went downstairs in my shorts and a tank top, because I'm slightly cold, and I looted what would be tomorrow's breakfast. And somehow somebody knew I did it, and I got a very kind warning: please don't eat the stuff that's meant for breakfast, as we only have a certain amount allotted each day for breakfast. So I was like, all right, so I got my share for dinner because somebody took my pants. So
you're saying like a Nosferatu kind of vampire?
I creeped down like a shadow of night, just going...
All the while I'm at the laundromat holding his pants ransom, being like, that'll be a lesson to you, sir. And I'm like, you should come get your pants. I got you good,
jerk.
You should come get your pants.
And I was like, but I washed my clothes first so I could be completely dressed to go out into the world while you rested up. And you were just like not having it. You're not having it. I did this for this. You're like, no, you're selfish and you don't care. No one cares. I'm gonna go now. I'm like, but my pants, nah. So
your pants were of no concern.
But once we got to Sicily, everything went like nothing but like.
Except for grabbing the cactus.
Let me get to the grabbing the cactus part next. But first, we went to Sicily, to visit my family's ancestral roots. My grandfather's parents were both immigrants from Sicily at the turn of the century, and I wanted to like see where they grew up at. I mean, granted, it'd be completely different, but now I know why his mother had a cactus in her backyard, because Italy is littered with cactuses.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, that wasn't just like a Californian thing. That was like a Sicilian thing she did.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I definitely felt a lot of closure when I got there with his passing when I was a child, because he meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
So we get to the first.
Wait, hang on. And this was actually because we had finished wrapping up Geeks Abroad. This was something that we were going to do since we're besties. We've been besties forever, and that's why we did it. And we wrapped up everything for Geeks Abroad. So we have, like, just to recap really quickly before you go into this, we went to in Switzerland.
The Zurich Game Show.
Everybody was super nice. We interviewed esports people. We were on the big stage. Like, it was an amazing trip, and we were done with that trip.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it was a huge stage. Like, we didn't deserve that.
And we met Ollie.
Yeah, we met Ollie, one of our community
No Pants.
members. Yeah,
I call him Ollie No Pants.
Yeah, because in PUBG, you gotta run.
I miss Ollie.
You gotta run.
Ollie,
deeply.
please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. he showed us. That was one of the things about Geeks Abroad is we asked for hosts. So people from the Geek Beacon community actually hosted us, and we hung out with them. And I'd love to do it again if we had the funding and an editor that hopefully. Through the community, I'm praying to the editing gods that I can meet up with. But so this
also
Sicily
a crew
trip
to
was
do
for
most of the work for us, so that way I'm not cranky. I'm not like hangry, tired, angry from.
You mean you don't want to be like the Sherpa that carries like everybody?
I seriously said on that trip I didn't want to be Sherpa, and I became the Sherpa.
Yeah.
So back to Sicily.
That was our friend trip. That was a good time.
There's a reason why vendetta is an Italian word.
Vendetta.
So we get to this Airbnb.
Let's zoom in on this one, shall we?
Okay, do you remember this Airbnb? All right.
Oh.
We get there. We're dead tired. We've been traveling. This is like our first morning in Sicily.
But Sicily's all the way down. So we went from all the way to the top of Italy to all the way down to the little boot. And we got the, 6 car or like the kind of like crappy.
Get to the boot. We after taking a bunch of trains, and I recommend don't take trains in Europe.
Unless you know
Unless
your
you're
itinerary.
if you're staying within the same country, okay. But if you're traveling like from country to country, don't do the trains. Pain in the ass. Trust me, just do the airport. Way easier, way simpler.
It's probably true. To be fair, though, we went from London to, we missed our train, and that screwed up everything. We went from London to Paris, to Zurich, and then to...
Then from Zurich, once we're done with Zurich, we went from Zurich back to Paris, and London wouldn't let us back in, so we were going to go by car, try to get to London Comic Con, because...
Yeah, that was a thing we wanted to do. And that was a comedy of errors.
And then so we got far north as Flanders. And I go, well, now the names are being more English, so now we're getting closer to the English coast.
Yeah.
We were about ready to go to Normandy and storm the beach of, not Normandy, oh God, what was that?
The Channel.
The Channel. I'm trying to think of the town that, Dunkirk. Yeah, we're ready to we're ready to get some rowboats from Dunkirk and rowboat into England.
Just so we could go to our Comic Con.
World War II.
Yeah.
With less Nazis.
Yeah.
And then we get to Flanders, and I'm just like, screw this. Let's just go straight. Let's just go straight to Italy.
And that's an example of what we tried to do on the rail system.
Flanders to Lyon, then from Lyon to Geneva. Then from Geneva we stopped at Montreux, saw the Freddie Mercury statue across Lake Geneva. I touched his butt, and therefore I gained his powers.
Yeah.
And then from there...
What's Freddie Mercury's power like?
It's pretty amazing.
Is it a lot like... I love when he used to do that on the piano. Like, he was such a badass when he just... I don't know how he looked down his nose at people, and he'd just be like, yeah, you're just so cool.
He didn't look down at people. Aww. Or when he did, he only did it to help them up.
Lift them up. Aww. Thank you, Freddie Mercury. We appreciate you and your butt.
Yes, I was about to try to do some Queen song. I'm like, no, that's not happening.
Oh, sickle. Oh, see, I was gonna do Fat Bottom Girls because no reason.
Yeah, well, no, that's in my head. Okay, so from there we went into Milan. Milan was not that great. Milan was sketchy as hell. like 90s Oakland sketchy. And then from there we went to Pisa. We made base camp in Pisa. And then from Pisa, we railed up to Lucca to the comps games for the rest of the week. And then from there, I just said, no more train. No more train.
Because
trains are a pain in the butt because you need to have a reservation. You need to be there like the day you need to be like 7 days in advance to make the reservation. And like we just got in the country like a day ago. How are we gonna make a reservation?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, screw that. No thanks.
Unless you have your itinerary completely set.
For under $60, we went from Pisa to Palermo in one quick Airbus. It was fantastic. I was like, I don't have to worry about some guy going, reservation? Ticket, Mr. Jones.
But that also could just be the fact that Americans know no trains. We like, what is this? I don't know. Trains.
What is this high moving metal box of gears?
You're efficient and you don't have to wait for cargo? What is this passenger train, you so speak?
So we get there and then on plane, and then we get into our first Airbnb, and then the next morning we're tired from all this traveling, and we asked, hey, can we do a late checkout, because we kind of want like one more hour of sleep, and then we want time to shower and clean up and eat. And they're like, okay. So at the moment that we were to check out, not only did the power get cut, but so did the water.
Yeah.
And
right after telling us, sure, no problem. I'm in the middle of soaping up my hair. Imagine the moment where you're just like, okay, I'm sweaty, I feel disgusting. You're like, I'm ready to like relax. Shampoo in freaking hair. No water, no electricity, no hot water, no water at all.
I'm going around the house, like trying to plug my phone in. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? And all of a sudden I hear, what the fuck? So while she's discovering water's not working, I'm running around the house going, why is this stuff not plugging in and working?
Yeah, it never occurred to us the fact that they
killed both at the same time. And then when she had water's out, I go, what? I went into the kitchen sink, I turned the faucet on, and water, drip, 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 empty. And I was like, oh, hell no, they did not just do this. We just went all this traveling. This is supposed to be my...
clearly there must be some mistake. It couldn't possibly be that
they kept driving into the driveway to see we were there, and then they would back their car out and like super shadily and just fucking book. So I was like, screw these guys. I was like, vendetta. Oh.
I feel like we shouldn't admit to this, but...
What are they gonna do?
Go ahead. The Snorlax is protecting the lives of the innocent.
Yeah,
Carry on.
Here's what happened. So I take a yogurt, I open it up, I eat a little bit of it because I was hungry, it's breakfast, and then I took it and I hid it. I hid it somewhere in the kitchen where they couldn't find it, just so it could rot, mold, and then spread out and mildew everything around it.
Or at least smell really bad.
Because
smell really, really bad.
Vendetta is an Italian word, and they didn't know I was Sicilian too. So they got what's coming to them. So then we left. Then we went to Syracuse, which was nice, and then we hung out in Taormina, which was fantastic. That's where we have like opening video of us two like talking about Geeks Abroad and Taormina and how pretty it is. Which you might have seen, might have been out there. And then we went back, and then I went to Spain.
You almost killed us.
You
almost killed us in Taormina. So the beautiful thing about these wonderful rustic European roads...
I gotta tell you about this. Go ahead.
The rustic European roads, they're so gorgeous. You're supposed to go slow on them. We had a little...
Not in
those
Italy.
Little smart cars?
If you want to drive in Italy, you gotta drive like Mario Kart.
Well, you did. They're like...
I had to. I had no choice.
It was either you or them.
Yeah, exactly. Rainbow Road that, son.
We have footage of all that. But yeah, so it was basically like sheer mountain cliff. It was so high in the air. It was so far above sea level that there were clouds. It was like Rainbow Road. It was like there were clouds you had to jump over, and there were just sheer cliff faces. And if you're a little bit of a control freak, or even if you're not, maybe you just don't want to die, and you're sitting in the passenger seat and you're like, please hope this person's like not distracted. Please don't be distracted. Please don't. Like, you're not trying to engage with them. You're just like, eyes on the road, eyes on the road. That was basically what was happening. But we got to the point of no return, where I feel like if this was like Castlevania Castle, we spiraled all the way up to the top. The only thing we could do in pitch blackness was to turn around. I honestly had no idea if you were going to go into a ditch or not. Like,
when I looked out my window, I saw
the abyss.
I saw road and hill, and then when you looked out your window, you saw the dark abyss and the void. And upon that, you declared, I think I want kids. And as your best friend, I said, what's their name? And you went, I don't know, Bridget?
No, it was like...
So now,
it was more,
now it's official.
No. I was under duress.
Put this on her wiki page, her Reddit page, whatever, that she shall name her firstborn daughter, if she should have a firstborn daughter, Bridget.
It's a terrible name.
Bridget shall be the name of Nixie Pixel's first child.
I was under duress. I basically contest this because
Female
I was
child.
under duress. Because
Who wants to
basically,
be a boy named Bridget?
I thought we were going into the abyss, and I felt like if I, like, not being super religious, but like just kind of putting something out in the universe, like, hey, you might want to keep me around, universe, because like I probably want kids. If I want kids, yeah, I want them to be.
She
Bridget.
said it in her head. That's not what came out of her mouth. Her
What
mouth,
was it?
out of your mouth was, I think I want kids. I don't know, Bridget. I laughed so hard. We got to the peak. I was laughing so hard. I was like, okay, you can drive back down. And then I got to see. Actually, I didn't get to see the abyss because I was so facing the same side. And you, as you're driving, you're like, oh, you would have killed us. No.
It was bad. It was bad. I think it's just like, and imagine having footage of all that just waiting to be edited by so if anybody has a program, just on a side note, I've heard of programs floating around there that deal with multiplicity in files. Sorry to get like super nerdy with it, but I need to differentiate because I have triplicates of things with different names. It's a nightmare. It's like Fifth Element quoting day for me. I'm like, bada boom, plus have chicken good.
I gotta watch that movie. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah.
I have seen it. And I own it. I just haven't watched it in a while.
It's okay. You can be.
It's on
forgiven.
4K now. Get it on 4K.
Oh my God, Colby, you gotta see that in 4K. Oh my God, Colby.
Okay.
Colby.
And then after that we split up. You stayed in Italy for a little bit longer, and I went to Spain for a day. And I'll tell you right now, I missed my flight. You having to do something got me late to my flight from Sicily to Spain.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
So I had to take a second plane. Thank God it didn't cost me any extra. And then when I actually got to Barcelona, they're like, oh yeah, that flight left already. So since you were delayed, we can get you one the day after tomorrow. I'm like, perfect. So I had a layover day in Spain.
Never miss your international flights if you can help it, because it screws you over.
Had a layover day in Spain. I recharged. I was actually very happy that I could remember my high school Spanish. That came so handy because I actually could like do.
Habla español.
Well, my grandfather was
¿Dónde
teaching
están
me.
los servicios?
Yeah, my grandfather was teaching me Italian, specifically Sicilian, as a kid, the Sicilian dialect, and I lost it all because you don't use it, you lose it. We're leaving Taormina. I was like, let's cue the Godfather soundtrack, and let's play the Godfather theme while we're going around Sicily, because it's so touristy bad.
Yeah.
That we have to do it, and we did. And I'll be honest, it actually met expectations with the landscape of the island.
It felt good, didn't it?
It felt like it was like we were in our own little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never watched any of I've never watched The Sopranos, but people also freak out about The Sopranos, which is kind of
really
like
good. Watched all of it. Ending's a little weird, but it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like New York Italians.
That is all. Right? Oh, they're not New York Italians. They're
Italian.
They're Jersey Italians, Jersey Sicilians, dealing with New York Italians. So, among other groups.
Of course, the light goes off. Thank you, light. Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful.
So, if you want comic books in Italy, because I was trying to find my friend Italian Spider-Man, because we used to laugh at the Italian Spider-Man videos on YouTube. I was like, oh, I'll give him a comic book with Spider-Man, but in Italian. So I go, here, have Italian Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he, too, is Italian and Sicilian. I was like, this would be perfect. Because he's probably a while before he makes it out to Sicily. So we're looking for comic book stores and couldn't find anything.
Googled it, even translated it.
Found one comic book store, and it didn't have any Spider-Man comics. Mm-mm. It didn't have any paperback or trade backs, in Italian. So we gave up. And then you researched it more, or you met somebody there and they were like, oh no, that means Funzetti.
It's called Funzetti. It was like, so it's just an example of like the slang that exists in different cultures that you just can't Google translate your way into it. It's like you either know or you don't know.
It's a specific word for what comic books are. They call it Funzettis.
Yeah.
Call it the
Funzetti.
funny papers.
And if you guys are from overseas, or if you're not from the U.S., or even if you are from the U.S. and you can think of some fun slang that like we don't really have, that isn't easily translated, put it in the comments below, because I love that stuff. I love it. It's good stuff.
Or
even just like from
go
Boston.
into Geek Beacon Discord in case you're not doing this through the YouTubes.
Yeah. If you're not doing it through the YouTubes, you can put
We're
it on.
gonna break you of your YouTube habit, girl.
I can never
Those
be
days
broken.
are over. Well, they're not over. You're still gonna do Linux videos, but you're gonna be doing other stuff. It's time to expand.
Speaking of which,
this is my lame. I'm so done with everything Tai Chi.
that
I
was.
go, yes.
It was because I was having an anxiety attack about what we were gonna say when we were on stage, and I was like, "Huh." When I was
like, fuck it, we'll just come up with as we go.
No, you didn't. I was like, but what if this? I do something called, and we're gonna shout out to all you squirrels, because if you're not familiar with our Geek Beacon community, we have Squirrel Army, which is like very pro mental health. And one thing that I do in my squirrely goodness is that I catastrophize everything. So, and I go through every fail scenario. I'm like, but what if this happens? And what if this happens? And what if this happens? And we could do this, and we could bomb like this. And he just said nothing. And he just went.
Yeah, I was like, relax.
No, he said nothing. It was just it. It was just beautiful.
That's what's saying in my head.
And I'm gonna put a video of it.
All right,
maybe.
I'm gonna. No, don't you dare.
Okay.
It's horrible. Oof.
Fine.
So I did my lame Tai Chi stuff to calm me down, and it worked because you couldn't stop laughing. That's back in Zurich. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on. So the rest of Italy was great. Let's move on.
The beautiful
to...
little fruit I gave you was the best.
Yes. Oh my God. Why do I keep spacing on this? Oh yeah, that's right. Because it was painful. So last day in Sicily, we're driving around, and she goes, "Oh, look at that fruit."
It's like, this is a delicious fruit.
It's a cactus apple. And
Yeah.
she goes, "Oh, here, you hold it." I go, "Okay." And I hold it, and I go, "This doesn't feel good." And I dropped it, and I had these little...
Yeah, like this.
These little, like...
I was like, here, oh my God, great. And while carrying it didn't feel like anything,
Just
so I
with
gave
3
it to him.
fingers, I went like this. I just went like this. I'm like, this kind of hurt. I dropped it, and I was like, ah! There's these quills in my thumb and my index finger and middle finger.
We basically riddled our hands with quills.
Well, your hands were riddled. My fingers were messed up.
The weird thing about it, though, is it's so fine, and I don't know if you guys have these where you're from, but they're so fine that you couldn't feel it when you first grabbed it. So I grabbed it like a softball, like I was going to throw it, and then I passed it to him like a softball.
3 fingers. I'm like, huh? I'm like, ow!
It's basically that episode of Dumb and Dumber where like they would hit themselves with an iron, and then 2 seconds later they'd react. Or Mo, was it? He stepped on the nail and it went into his foot, and then he looks
you mean
at the camera.
Three Stooges?
No, I'm thinking of Home Alone.
Oh, I watched Home Alone in like forever.
This is like the foot. This is the basically for the podcast people. I'm making a needle finger. Yeah, I'm making a needle finger. I'm so not used to podcasts. Anyway, he went down on the needle and he screamed, and that was basically what happened with us.
Yeah.
So
after blaming you for why'd you do this to us? We parted ways for Europe.
You're welcome.
For the U.S. And then we came to a conclusion when you got back, like, this is putting us all together, putting this into some kind of production was just out of our budget. And
so we're sitting
at that
on all
time,
this
I haven't been working in a while, so I'm like, my debts are going up. I need to find a job. That doesn't sound quite good.
So basically, what happened wasn't that great. I mean, we were broker than a joke. We came off of Geeks Abroad. We had no nothing really edited to show for it. I couldn't afford an editor. The world's tiniest violin is playing for me again. Thank you. And so then we joined forces with Equity Games, which was kind of a blessing because it was all of our fandom that we've been kind of going rogue on our own and trying to, bring into fruition, but actually being part of a team. And that was really great also for Mark because of his experience.
I do video game marketing, and I got another shot at doing it again, and I love it so much. That's my passion. I love, I learned early on, I can't program, I can't code, so don't even put me on code or talk tech stuff for me. I just couldn't hang it. I just couldn't handle it in college.
Yeah,
and I was like, well, I can't do coding, and I can't do art. I can't draw a straight line to save my life. My sister got the art gene. What was left for me? And then I were watching this not E3, the GDC conference, and this guy named Phil Harrison, who was with Sony at the time. Now he's doing Stadia with or Stadia or whatever with Google. He started talking about stuff, and I go, wait a second. He's not a developer. He's a business guy. What?
I will show you the world.
I'm like, there's other jobs. And then I saw Jack Tretton, who was at Sony's CEO at the time for Sony America, Sony Computer Entertainment America.
Get it right.
And Kazurai. And I'm just like, these guys, they don't code and they don't make, but they're still working in video games.
That's a thing.
What are they doing? Marketing. Done.
Yeah.
Done. I found my calling. I was good at it in college. I was good at it in the job place. And I was passionate about games. And I'm going to hit the table as much as I want, and people are going to be okay with it. Because, damn it, if you don't follow your passions, what's the fucking point?
That's true.
I drop F-bombs.
That's probably what Geek Beacon is all about.
Yeah.
It's just following your passion, providing a place for people who want to talk about their passion. That's what it's always been about.
If you want to form Voltron with some other friends, like I would love to see the Geek Beacon community make a video game. Preferably a beat 'em up, and preferably somehow involving sea monkeys. That's
for the benefit of mental health, because squirrels.
I don't care about the mental health part. I just want to see a video game with sea monkeys in it.
Sea monkeys?
I love sea monkeys.
Like the little things you grow in the Dexter's Lab when you're little?
Yes.
That don't have brains?
They got brains. I have a thing of sea monkeys.
Do sea monkeys have brains?
In future video casts, we'll have a thing of sea monkeys here that's going to be in the background. That's going to be my swag. You got your little llama. I'm gonna have my little tank of sea monkeys swimming around.
That's like saying that you would have some Futurama-esque brain head in a jar, while I have an adorable little cozy thing. That's
bite
not
my shiny middle ass. What about Zoidberg?
Oh God. So rewinding the tangent, Equity Games came about where we could have
that's gonna be our new catchphrase, rewinding the tangent.
Rewinding the tangent. So Equity Games, I dare you.
Oh. Like I said, my sister has the art gene.
I'll see what Haley can do then. Yep. I was like, how many times do you guys have to rewind the tangent? Because if you squirrel out on something, you need to rewind it back.
Yeah, how do we get to this point in the conversation?
So Equity Games is kind of like the open version of a games distribution platform. So the idea behind it was being able to trade digital assets as if they were real. So making the digital tangible.
My slogan that made it: we take the tangible and we take the digital and make it tangible.
Yeah. And so he was able to do his marketing stuff there, and I was able to. I recorded so much, and I feel like editors shouldn't be that hard to come by. I don't know. I just got a problem.
You need to date an editor.
You need to date an editor.
You need to date an editor. Be like, honey, as part of our relationship. Costs, you're going to have to edit my videos.
I guess there's other relationship costs. I mean, they have to pay dating or crazy Russian redhead anyway, so editing couldn't be too far off.
Well, I don't know about that. What I do know is this. Everyone pays in a relationship one way or the other.
Everybody's gonna pay. It's like the opposite of Oprah, you get a thing, you get a thing.
Forever single.
Yeah.
Anyway. I'm going to say,
So it was really great, and you guys might already know this if you're in our Discord because we talked about it. We also have the Equity Games Discord, which is almost rivaling the 4,000 people that we have in our Geek Peekin' community site or community Discord, and it was really exciting because for
Discord or discourse?
Discord.
Okay.
Discourse is a forum.
All right. They just got names.
We have the forum software for Discourse, so we have
dyslexia really loves to kick in on.
forum.geekbeacon.org. We have whatever is clever. If you like persistence, which I do, so I don't like to have the scrolling chat because I'm not from like Yahoo Chat and I can't maintain that crap. I like forums. So we have forum.geekbeacon.org, we have podcast.geekbeacon.org, and we have just the Discord.
Hello, I'm first responder to this podcast, and here are my critiques. They tangent everywhere. I don't know what's going on, and the crash sound between system failures is hilarious. Which now is going to happen. We're going to have like a car crash sound every time like things mess up, so that we don't have to edit too much. Just so we can get it out there for everybody.
So if we crash, and then can it explode into the screen?
Yeah, just show show footage of car crashes. You know, like public domain.
Public domain car crashes?
I'm thinking of the word.
Do you really want to look that up? Is that like Faces of Death? But
grab it from there's obviously just grab it from like a gift site.
Car crash?
Yeah.
Car crash gifts?
Yeah.
Please send us your car crash gifts at Talk Nerdy on our Discord.
Yes.
No, what the fuck were we talking about?
Well, we're talking Geek Beacon and stuff, and now
we were talking about equity. And so here's what happened. It was glorious. It was glorious because I got to go on so many panels, and then we soon ended up going to China, which was another clusterfuck, but you will find out here in a minute. We ended up doing a pitch contest, which in the Silicon Valley world is very common. You basically pay for the privilege to kind of basically present.
Red flag 1.
To present your, to bestow everybody with the knowledge of your product.
Hey guys,
and
this
in
is kinda
turn,
fishy.
we were going to get, is the operative words, $2 million.
No.
It was 1 million.
We were to get
$1.5 million.
We were to get
euros.
$1 million
Euros.
in funding, not euros.
Yeah,
no, not euros. $1 million in funding. Half of it was going to be like Bitcoin or Ethereum. The other half would be in USD.
I mean, explaining this back to you guys makes me go, oh, wow,
and
that was stupid.
And that's after the 500,000. So out of the 1 million in total sum, half of it was going to be in work exchange. So basically, this organization would pay for would basically give us $500,000 worth of like coaching.
It doesn't matter.
And tech support and all that fun stuff. Business tutorials, whatever. I can't think of the word right now.
It's exactly what we needed because it's what a startup needs. It's everything that would have propelled us to be able to enter into the highly competitive market that is games distribution and possibly like be a contender there. So it was very exciting. We pulled all the stops. The CEO flew in from New York. I showed up. We did everything. And we.
Hey, friend.
Out of what?
This is definitely staying in. So we have a setup and we have a couple of cameras, and I'm looking at the camera down here, and then I'm looking at it. It looks like I'm looking at your rack the entire time.
What?
look at your chest, like, yeah, equity, yeah, distribution, yeah, Linux. Tell me more about Linux. Yeah.
And how.
So I'm not checking out her gorgeous rack. I am just looking into the camera to see how I look, and I need to go to the gym.
So, rewinding the frickin' tangent.
A tangent a go-go!
A tangent a go-go.
That's what we call it. The tangent a go-go.
I was super, super excited that we were part of this, and out of 2,000 people, were there 2,000 people?
There was 4,000 people in attendance, and out of out of 1,000 companies startups that submitted, we came in the top 20, so we were able to present, and from the top 20, we became number 1.
So we won. We won this contest, and it was amazing. It bestowed us with a new sense of hope. Everything was perfect. I got everything together to make a team video. I poured all of my time into this, which meant none of the time went to going to my own videos. None of the time really went to Geek Beacon. It was all to create this like kind of open source mentality around game stores, and it was supposed to be incredible. I mean, I'm sorry that it didn't work out for us. I'm sorry that it didn't work out for the people that had faith in it. And it didn't work out because they didn't pay us. And this is still pending litigation, so we can't say too much about it.
I don't know anything about it. Last I heard, they were looking into options, and that's all I know, and that's legally what I know.
Yeah, and so essentially, but that didn't change the fact that we put all on the line to go to China, which is another story in and of itself. So if you think about, like, you've already put everything you have, like from the moment that you wake up to the moment that you go to bed, that's what you're thinking of. This is your passion. This is what you want to bring to the world, and then you can't all of a sudden. And so we were presented with this opportunity. Come to China, because if you come to China, then there's a lot of investors there.
Well, they love throwing money at investors.
Yeah, there's a lot of investors.
Here's what people don't know about the Chinese game market. They just got consoles about 10, 12 years ago. They don't sell them publicly. You gotta get through private sales. So what they have is PC and mobile. And like in America, mobile's really big. Also really big in China. So when our platform's about PC games, everyone's like, but everyone here already owns their game. Everyone here this and that. And it's like, oh, well, technically our company wouldn't do too well here in China because we don't fit that game model, so no one threw money at us.
Yeah, I mean, that's in a nutshell, but also, like, they didn't necessarily divulge exactly how important we were to them. What we did in order to even get to China is we did a drive-by visa. Like, I've never done this before in my life.
So to get there.
Yeah. We basically drove in Oakland, and I couldn't get out of the car because everybody was double parked because it was Chinatown, and we needed the visa like yesterday. So essentially, I passed my passport and hoped to God that this lady was just she's like, I take your passport. And I was like, what are you here for? And we're like, well, we're going on business. And she's like, oh, you're tourist. I'm like, no, we're going on business. And she's like, tourist easier. Tourists easier. And so she put us into this tour group.
Thank God she did, because a couple weeks later, the United States arrested a Chinese businesswoman, and China started holding some of our guys.
They were just keeping people in the country. Like, it was kind of terrifying to think about embarking on this journey, but like for somebody who, we started out with a company in its infancy, we wanted to make sure that it succeeded, and that was what we came there to do. And so
going to China was probably the only country I was nervous about going to out of all our travels, because it's a communist regime.
It's not even the people's fault. It's the regime.
Yeah,
it's not
the government is what I'm more worried about. Yeah. No Google. Cannot use Google. So we were cut off from most of the world.
Yeah. So like I had a VPN, but didn't. And I was like, oh, my VPN.
The Great Firewall of China, as they call it.
Yeah. The Great Firewall of China. And my VPN wasn't working, so everything was dead in the water. And this one girl, really like nonchalantly, she was like, oh, you don't have your VPN for your VPN? When your VPN gets blocked? I'm like, oh, I need another VPN? Like, crap, I didn't know that. That's valuable.
Inception VPNs. You have the VPN within a VPN within a VPN.
So, but the thing that we weren't planning, and so essentially, like, we got kind of carted around everywhere, and they were amazing. The people there, we did what was called like a startup roadshow. So if you guys aren't familiar with this, again, it's like really common in the Silicon Valley
So
world.
Basically, we went from tech show to tech show to tech show. We went from one in Beijing to one in Wuhan, to Zhuhai, then to Wuhan.
Yeah.
And Wuhan looked something out of like Blade Runner, because of all like the cool stuff they had like in lights on the buildings. Like this fish would swim between like 5 different buildings like half a mile apart. It was just like it was amazing.
And it turns out that it was like they were the capital of all LEDs. Like they made all the LEDs. And I'm like, oh, I get it.
Apparently, every stop we made claimed to be the Silicon Valley of China.
Yeah, and so that was kind of like this dystopia, because they were every single night we were having these amazing banquet dinners where I've never actually done this before, but if you
ate duck heart.
Yeah,
I ate a duck soul.
Ate things.
A couple of times.
Yeah, and he was like,
no.
He would ask.
And I was like, no, and people were like, don't ask, just eat. I'm like, no. Well, that's just telling me I'm eating weird stuff.
But it's fun. Like, it's fun to be like, hey,
eating a duck soul.
This is really popular in my culture. Here, eat this. And it's like, okay, I will eat this because I respect you and your culture.
Oh, what's this shriveled prune-looking thing? Oh, that's a duck heart. Oh, okay. And you went, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And you ate a couple of them, so I'm like, that's a couple ducks you ate.
They were tasty. I'm not a vegetarian. Sorry in advance.
I'm not a vegetarian either,
I'm a kitty cat. I'm a carnivore.
Not guts.
Not guts?
Not guts.
Yeah, that's all right.
Just muscle, please. Thank you.
I mean, they brought us to a banquet hall that was the, like, presidential meeting place or something.
So, where Nixon met Chairman Mao, that's where we ate. Allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
And so...
They had pictures proving it.
It was an incredible...
Like, allegedly.
Here's the thing, to set the pace for you guys. And I think I have some video, but I don't even really know where it is. But basically, to set the pace of how this worked is we would go to it was a road show. It was essentially like a comedy tour, if you will. Mm-hmm. Because we went to one city, and then we would present, and then we have our stuff. We wouldn't even really be able to get it into the hotel because we'd have it on the bus. So we had a tour bus that went everywhere we went to the multiple cities. So we flew like 4 times, and then we had a bus that would cart all of our stuff around. We showed up at like 1 a.m. every night. Like, it was nuts. Like,
yeah. It was, and then we fly, and then.
So we were.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on the Chinese version of the TSA. They took my Fallout 76 battery charger that I got from the Bethesda booth at E3 2018.
May it rest in peace.
May it rest in peace in China. And I started joking because, like, this is how the war started. In the Fallout universe, China's launched the nukes, and they started it.
Aww.
Then they cut my TSA lock.
I even tried in my broken Chinese.
That's a $15 lock I can't get my money back on.
I even tried in my broken Chinese because 我说中国话一点儿, and I was basically. Yeah, he learned how to say one
bottle of water, please. Yeah.
It's not bad.
So I just go around saying that all the time.
Not bad with the accent.
Well, yeah, for some reason I'm really good with accents.
Yeah. So, just to wrap up, it was a crazy time in China because we went and we were essentially going under the guise, or whatever this was, as being Silicon Valley ambassadors.
Yep.
For China.
We had nameplates.
Yeah.
We were spoken to by Chinese government officials. You were heavily, like, preyed upon in a good way by the Chinese businesswomen community, because they're like, oh, one of us, a woman in tech. Yeah. Let's go bug her.
I like that people automatically assume I'm like a secretary just initially out of the gate, and I'm like, really, are we?
Oh, not in China. Once you said, oh, I'm a co-founder of a startup, they're like, we are paying you all the attention in the world because you're like us.
Yeah.
Part of the sisterhood.
So part of the sisterhood was that I had to get up at ass early in the morning, and if you know me, I don't do well in the morning. Please don't talk to me. I need plenty of caffeine, like hellfire and brimstone in my eyes.
Hissing.
And so basically our handler, I would say at this point, was like, hey, so we had to get up at 7, and we were supposed to be at yet another one of these, like, little breakfast thingies, or a little, like, I don't even know what it was, and I didn't really care because honestly it was too early for this crap. So I was in the bathroom, and I'm just like kind of just waking myself up. I'm just like, just in the bathroom, and I start getting this text from our handler, and she's like, everyone's waiting for you. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It's like, I don't know what we're doing, it's not that important. And finally she's like, where are you? You're needed. And I'm like, what is this? So I mosey on upstairs. I open the door, and there are flash bulbs going off. There are tons of cameras. There are like dignitaries from different places, and it looked like Congress, like the actual.
Right. I'm going to jump ahead for a split second and say you actually spoke in front of a delegation of Chinese investors, business owners, and government officials.
Yeah, and it was really nuts because, like you said, there was nameplates, and we had our names.
Still have them.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like I had such an imposter syndrome, and it was nuts because they had these little devices like so, and you'd tune it to a channel, and whatever language you spoke, it could be like Korean or it could be English, and then as I was presenting, it was being live translated to all of those languages, and so it was just kind of like, okay, so apparently we're big news. Unfortunately, long story short, nothing came from that. I wouldn't say it was a huge waste of time. It took a lot of time, and it was a very intense
it was a very
learning experience, right?
Fun at a lot of the time. We met some really cool people, one of which we're going to try to get on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because they talk about quantum mechanics.
And cryptography. And he's such a delightful nerd about that stuff. And that's what we're all about, is delightful nerds. So, yeah. That was the story of China. And
then to pick it up from there, after we were done with China and the funding didn't come in, we kind of got together and all right, well, this isn't going to happen anymore for right now. Yeah.
It's time to start delivering packages.
It's time to start doing Amazon delivery packages, which I'm kind of doing now. But now is a good time to go back to Geek Beacon and start again. The first time at Geek Beacon, we
don't shoot for the moon.
Yeah, we went,
don't go too crazy and don't be a perfectionist.
We were too ambitious in what we want to do with such a community. We had such a wonderful following. I mean, we still do have a wonderful group of people. Still have a tremendous following. It's just we just shot too far for what we had, and I think that really burned us out a bit.
Yeah.
And when Equity Games came around, we took it as an opportunity to get a break, as well as get some money in so that later on we can reinvest and finish Geeks Abroad. But
it's all volunteer projects, and it's an interesting thing that people kind of expect a lot from even just a YouTuber to be able to dedicate all their time. And YouTube advertising platform is not viable anymore. It's just it wasn't when I first said that it wasn't, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. So
didn't you have a creator friend that just retired? They were on our list, right? Lacey Green?
Yeah. Oh, she retired, but she's also getting her master's in psychology. There's that. You get on another path when you're going academic stuff.
Well, master's and doctoral degrees. You'll be in school for a while.
Yeah.
And that's going to be her jam for a while. So.
Yep. So,
I still think we should get her on the podcast.
Yeah, so that's one thing that we're going to do is we're going to have tired.
That's okay. There are no edits at this point. We're just going to go through. No more edits. We're doing it live, kids. We're doing it live.
Yeah, so I think that in the end, we shot for the moon, we tried everything, and unfortunately, there's just a lot of footage sitting on the hard drive, but we have a lot of amazing stories, we have a lot of incredible footage. It's just getting that out there and doing everything we can from a podcast standpoint to have enough,
So let's see, what about, it was 4 months ago, I was like, hey, we should do something, okay, we need to get you back in, you need to start your content stuff again, but you're having trouble with, the video editing stuff, and, something we need to talk about is your love-hate relationship with Linux.
Oh, yeah.
And so I suggested, after listening to a bunch of comedian podcasts, I'm like, these guys, I look at
true inspiration.
I look up their setups, I look at, how they do things, and they just this is what we do best. You and me, we just talk to each other.
Yeah.
We don't do play to the camera. Hello there. Start to subscribe at this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and right here.
I still do that. But
oh, you can do that. I'm just
I try not to.
I go somewhere around here or something, if there is something. But
and I tell them not to touch the microphone anymore.
I won't touch things if I want to touch things.
What were you getting at?
What I was getting at is, I figured getting us back into the community, getting you back with your audience, that starting a weekly podcast of unknown length. We'll figure that out as time goes.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to do a 5-hour-long podcast, we'll do a 5-hour-long podcast as long as those 5 hours are fun, engaging,
and
we talk about stuff that we care about.
Yeah, and I think to that end, we're trying really hard this time, and we're not really letting outside forces stop us. For instance, when we're going to get kicked out of here, we had last time we recorded in the car, which if you're following us on social media, I know if you're subscribed to my Patreon, you'll see the behind the scenes on how that works.
And it worked for hilarity purposes, but in terms of, what was it, what was the thing that Tascam did? We peaked.
Oh, yeah. Our
I'm
audio.
loud, so I peak a lot.
It's like the death knell of podcasts is if your audio is peaking because it loses fidelity on the back end. You know what I'm saying? You need to have like a decent full back end.
Yeah.
Back ends are good. Having the audio blow out is not good. So, but in the spirit of letting it suck, we're gonna go ahead and let that suck, and we're probably gonna have it viewable.
Yeah.
Much to my dismay.
Because we wanted to show you guys that we are being serious about this. We are caring about what you guys want.
Mark essentially...
We want to talk about things we care about and to compliment Nixie and her videos.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that's more our style.
Yeah, that and like a nod to what you were saying about the love-hate relationship with Linux is that I loved it, and I really enjoyed talking about it during the time that I talked about it.
Unsubscribe.
But that's like all, unsubscribe. And anytime I would post something that's like outside of that, it would be an unsubscribe situation. And I don't want to be paralyzed by that anymore because I love creating. And maybe you're kind of like, who is this weirdo, right?
That's what they said on this first stream we did for Geek Weekend like 2 years ago. Like, who's this weirdo? Get him off.
And that's the funny part is that he's here again, but he was always here throughout Geeks Abroad and throughout Geek Beacon.
I'm more of a puppet master shadowy figure lurking in the background.
Well, when we get the footage out, they'll see that you were there the whole time.
Yeah,
just kind of like
carrying luggage, hating life, going.
Presto changeo. Yeah, with the 3 camera setup. You can carry luggage and hate life, and I can edit videos and hate life. So, hopefully I won't hate life too much after this. So in
addition to your content, your Linux content, we're going to have the podcast. We're going to expand into other things as time goes on. This is just the first step of what's going to be many for this community.
Yeah, like we want to talk about special brains. Like for me, if I had to say, like personally for me, I would love to go down like some of the topics that we're going to talk about are like our ADHD journey, okay? So we have the Squirrel Army, which is a special brain section of our Discord, and that represents a lot of things: anxiety, depression, a little wily type of ADHD called
the wild card.
Yeah, the wild card, which is like depression and ADHD, which is kind of like a little bit what
you're putting that on me. I don't get the depression one.
Well, you get the depression in the way that you sleepy. Oh,
remember that's not depression. That's not like I'm sad over life depression. It's like
it's physical depression, like depressing meaning
lethargic. And physical depression's like, oh, so his body wants to kill himself and not his soul. Interesting.
Well, it's good that you don't have both, right? But
I don't know how. My body's sad, therefore it's trying to end things. Aww. But I want to live. I'm happy.
Yeah, he just definitely falls asleep. I wonder if he has narcolepsy sometimes because of the awesome ability you have to sleep.
Don't do the reel of me falling asleep in random places like I was helping you move when you were in Seattle. Other things, as I'm sure you might be playing it right. No.
And we have mutually assured destruction with each other. So
yes.
If we get out those cards, it could get ugly. So let's at least do that episode 2, 3. Let's see how long it gets.
Okay. So.
So basically talking about special brains, I have a good deal of experience in that. I've studied a lot of like what the greats in the industry say, the people that actually have ADHD, and then I've studied like neuroanatomists, neuroscientists, lots of cool stuff there. We have a lot of like really awesome people at Geek Beacon that want to kind of
Our
maybe go on
Squirrel Army.
our squirrel army. So if you have like a story on like on squirrel related stuff, hit up it's called SpeakPipe. I know it sounds stupid, but it's really cool. It's like a little voicemail service, and you can kind of tell us your little story there, and
Which
we can
brought
talk
to
about
you
it.
today's song.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, one of our current intro is based on one of those voicemails, but
Yeah.
obviously
Soon to be a t-shirt.
right. And we also have like those E3 reaction videos, and let's see what else we got. We wrote tons of notes. That was one of the things in our blown out video that you probably have seen, is that we went on our podcast retreat, and so we wrote like a lovely little journal.
So we went to my favorite place in the world, Capitola.
Talking about crypto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about crypto.
That's one of the things we wanted to talk about.
Blockchain, awesome. Crypto, not so much. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. Well, there's reasons behind that, and we're going to
reasons
talk
behind it.
about that too.
So with that said, basically a couple months ago, I was like, let's do this, podcast.
And I was
We can
like, no.
Give you the related title stuff. You're like, no, I need to do the video stuff. I'm like, dude, your videos are gonna happen regardless you do this or not. Let's just do this. Let's get your feet back in the water. Let's get you back into the community. Let's just get the ball rolling, and then costume change into Stitch.
I'm listening. I'm punctuating.
My sister's gonna want to steal that. So we went on a creative retreat a couple weeks ago, and besides almost hitting a zombie in the freeway, we had a very good time getting together and coming up with all the things we can do for a podcast. What to talk about? Guests? Who do we want? Who do we want to talk about? Community members that we put on the podcast. This and this and this and this, and we pretty much figured out we're on the verge of basically understanding what we're gonna do for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
And then from there, we're gonna look into growing a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and just do it gradually, and not try to be like full-blown podcast network by the end of the year.
Our
That would
audio
just be
probably sucks.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Because next time the audio is gonna be a little bit better. Time after that, it's gonna be much better. Time after that, we're probably gonna buy some better equipment.
Yeah.
To stabilize it, so less fail-safes. Or no, we want more fail-safes.
More fail-safes, less failures.
Less failures, less
Yeah.
car crashes.
Right now, we're kind of paranoid, looking at all the meters at once.
So for next 10 minutes, I think we should just talk about something fun like a video game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, this video game looks like it's amazing.
I'm still bummed out that I didn't do a reaction video to Vampire the Masquerade.
If you work for that game company and you like us, please send us like stuff.
So we can give it to you guys.
Give it to you guys, shifty eyes. Keep this for myself.
Aww.
I'm joking. Of course we'll give it. Just make sure they give us extra so we can have our own.
Oh yeah, we were gonna talk about the crap jobs we worked.
Well, we can talk. I mean, these things are still gonna happen. It's just not episode 1 because we're dealing with like 4 or 5 car crashes now. I'm just looking at their equipment like, okay, good, not crash yet.
No.
Who?
Nah.
Yeah.
No, I'm bummed out that I didn't get to do a reaction video to Vampire the Masquerade because I've been waiting for that game to come out for so long.
Have you watched the video yet?
Yeah, I watched it with you.
In the car.
Didn't I?
No. We watched Fallout.
At the retreat.
We watched a small video. We didn't watch the E3 like 20-minute long gameplay demo.
Oh man.
Which I've watched a couple times. And yeah, I'm excited for that game, excited for Cyberpunk 2077, which we saw last year at E3 behind closed doors.
We were so lucky to see that. Like, we pulled all the stops to be the last people to see that.
We were part of the last group. Like the group ahead of us had Hideo Kojima in that group, and we're like, oh!
He's a god! You didn't know I could do that?
No! And then, so we saw Cyberpunk live behind closed doors, and it was amazing. Like,
jaw-dropping.
I immediately picked up on John DiMaggio's voice art. He did Bender, and in Futurama, he's the king in Enchanted Land? Enchanted? No, Disenchantment.
Correct us on everything that we do, please.
By all means, yes. Please feel free to school us in what we're mistaking ourselves. So it's been a very tiring podcast.
But it's really interesting how, like, before, when video games didn't have huge budgets for acting and voice acting, because voice acting.
Oh God! Remember those awful Sega CD games?
Yeah. Now they have, you know, freaking, I would say A-list actors. Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves. Yes,
is an A-list actor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an A-list actor in my heart because the dude's just a good dude. Like I've watched.
That dude is pure good karma.
Yeah. I've watched almost everything, and he's had a hard life.
Oh.
And it's like he deserves everything.
He lost a baby and lost his wife, like within like
and
a
then
short
the thing
period
with
of time.
John Wick, I mean, this isn't really a spoiler. The old John Wick started off with him losing his wife, and I'm like, isn't that too close to home? Like, that's not.
For that actor, I think that's perfect for him because it's
he's
like
I'm
therapy.
Gonna kill everyone now.
Yeah, well, he probably felt that way, so it was easy for him to like emote, like, oh, I actually been through this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just nuts.
He's
so seeing him in Cyberpunk, which hopefully is not a spoiler for you guys.
Johnny
seen
Silverhand, I think.
Yeah. It's just so real now because I remember the day when it was all pixelated and whatnot. So
but
another
also,
one of those.
Fallout 76 is going to have NPCs, so we can start playing that again.
Yeah, you see my reaction on that.
Oh my god, we gotta. Oh, my eyes, I'm tired.
You saw my reaction on that. I was like.
You're like this.
Yeah, I don't know what it was like. Or finally, or I don't know. It was a combination of.
It was like oh my god, they did it. Then you're like,
right.
Finally, and it's like, well, that was the story of Appalachia. Like all the inhabitants that were human got turned into scorched. And spoilers, it's been over a year, or not over a year. It's been long enough. You should have played it by now. The scorched became, the mindless zombie things you go around. In addition to shooting like the crazy ghouls.
Yeah, the issue
scorched
is
ghouls, and then the ghouls. And so
it felt so lonely. Yeah. That was the problem. Is for me. But
they wanted that though. That was the thing. I mean, as much as we shit on this stuff, they actually wanted it to be this way. And from that point, I respect it because what they wanted, they did very well.
Yeah.
But now the story is now that we pretty much reclaimed that part of the wasteland, humans are coming back to settle.
Which is good. Which is good. I can't wait to see the interaction that I get from them. And apparently, you still do charisma checks. You have intelligence checks with it. Yeah, perception. Like, so that's good. I mean, from the person who played the old Fallouts, we were just talking about like Wasteland.
Oh yeah,
Wasteland series. I love the top-down Fallouts. I still do.
Because it's like Xbox exclusive now. The Fallout. Or no, it's not Fallout.
The
Wasteland 3.
Wasteland 3. Yeah. So, like, if you like the top-down Fallout experience with... I don't know if Wasteland's turn-based like Fallout 1's were, but yeah. You probably like Wasteland. If you're okay with Microsoft exclusives.
Yeah, equipment's still working. Yeah. I know. Don't expect Wasteland 3 on Linux anytime soon. Without, like, some converter thing.
Well, I don't know. Microsoft is making some strides from the open source world.
Well, yeah,
but that's a whole other story.
Why pay your employees when you get other people to do it for free?
Yeah. And this is also a hat trial.
So we went to Japan, which we'll talk about in another episode, and we got the Raver Scully headset.
I'm sorry if this is blowing the mic out.
Maybe. Here, let's get rid of this. Crap.
Yeah.
So, with that said... I'm trying to think of another game that looks really good. We'll just go through. We got about 14 games to look at.
Yeah.
So a future episode, and then in the very very near future, we'll have an episode where we just go through the trailers and we just say like, all right, this is cool. This is what I'm excited about it. This is what it is, and then we just leave it at that. Well, because it's too late for a reaction.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe
eventually you're just gonna have to cave in and see what's coming out.
If I can get the videos out fast enough, maybe it's not. But either way, thank you guys so much for tuning in. They're gonna kick us out of the library again, and unfortunately, we cannot record this part for you in the Starbucks drive-thru late at night, which you guys should totally check out.
I get super excited and a little Italian, and I get a little loud.
You? No.
Me? Never. Hey guys, look at this. This is really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. I will talk nerdy to you later, and we will see you on the next one.
Which will be in 2020.
See you next year. Ah!
And cut.
Sync point 1, 2. Sync point 1.